Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials.
Good morning, it's 8 o'clock on Saturday the 11th of December. Just making my way down to the land, and as always, not quite sure what we're going to get done today, but let's find out. First things first, as usual, sort the chickens out. They're all running around like headless chickens, pretending they've never been fed. Let's take a little look and see what we've got in the coop today. It's not as messy as I thought it was going to be honest. I was down very early though on, let's have some lights. Very early on Thursday. I've been away for a few days, so I came down as early as I could just to make sure that everything was all right and food and water was okay, which it was, to be fair. 6 plus 1, 7. Any more for any more? Nothing in there, nothing in, well, mess in there. Look at the state of that. It's not a nest box, looks like a toilet. Just double check there's nothing laid around on the floor. Sometimes they do. Can't see anything. They've had the tops off this feeder again though. I don't know why they do that. It's not like there's no food. I've got to play hunt the lid now. Rather than you watching me scrat around in the sawdust for the lid for that feeder, I'll come back to you in a second. Well, good morning. It's the weekend, and it's a cold weekend. We've had some shocking weather this last few weeks. We had Storm Arwen came through, dumped loads of water, huge winds, power grid went completely crazy, and we had hundreds of thousands of homes without electricity, and for almost 2 weeks we still had houses that didn't have the power restored. Then storm, I forget what it was called now, began with a B, Barden or Baron or whatever, another storm came through a week later, similar kind of thing, dumped loads of rain. We had some snow, more high winds. Don't know if you can see the steam, I'm sure you can off my breath and the coffee. Temperatures have dropped significantly. I was scraping ice off the car window this morning. Thankfully, by the time I got down here, because I was a little bit later today, most of the frost had gone. But you'll probably hear the background noise, apologies for that, but I've left the heater on. It hasn't quite had a chance to warm through the cabin yet, especially my fingers. I've been filling the water up for the chickens and topping the food up, so my fingers are a little bit cold. But anyway, enough of that. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you are staying safe and well, and take the chance to enjoy your weekend away from the humdrum of daily life and work. Talking about work, I started a new job. You probably know if you're a regular viewer. So it's been a bit crazy for me this last few weeks. Lots of toing and froing, different places. My schedule that I normally have, everything pinned down to a routine, that's gone out the window. So I am busy trying to play a catch-up of stuff that I would have normally got done during the week, but haven't had a chance to do so. So apologies. Today's video will be a fairly short one, I think. There's not much to do outside here at the cabin, apart from the chickens, of course. I'll need to give those a good clean out. But apart from that, not a great deal. one thing I did do was checked my store of feed. I mentioned that dreaded Christmas word as I walked across the field this morning. I'm a day early. It's not quite 12 days to Christmas, but hey, whatever. So yeah, I was looking at chicken feed. I've got 60 kilos of layers pellets plus half a bag, so 70 kilos. I've got 20 kilos of mixed corn plus half a bag, so 30 kilos of mixed corn. I think, well I don't think, I know, I'm going to be popping out shortly to the farm shop just to grab another bag, maybe two, we'll see how I get on, of layers pellets. I'm conscious that, I'm going to mention it again, Christmas is coming and places will shut down for the holiday period, so I'm just edging my bets a little bit. I'll get another bag or two just to make sure that I'm all the way through winter and into the new year without having to worry about is the shop open or not, or is the weather too bad and I can't get to the shop. Just take away that worry. And worry is something that I was going to discuss in the cabin chat today. So let me just grab a quick sip of this coffee. And we'll crack on. I just scribbled a couple of little notes down just to remind me. But yeah, worry. And why really we shouldn't be worrying or trying not to worry. Because the media and governments are just pumping out fear messages lately. This last few weeks has been a constant stream. We've had the new Omicron variant of COVID for the last 2 or 3 weeks. There's this real fear porn being pushed out by government and media. They've been telling us that this is the world's greatest infection and we've not seen anything like this ever and it's terrible and the number of cases has gone through the roof. But when you actually step back from that message and you start looking at other messages from scientists, World Health Organization, and really the World Health Organization wants to promote fear. They do their best to get everybody into a state of fear and panic, but even they have said, actually, do you know what? This variant is a very milder version of the original COVID. The vaccination people have come out and said it's a nothing burger. There's nothing, no substance to it. If you've had your jabs, you're not going to be affected. So really, yes, there are lots of cases being reported in the news, but it's people who haven't had the jab or people who have had the jab, but you can still pick it up. Just because you've had your vaccination doesn't stop you from picking it up and spreading it around. So there's been this huge fear message, and if you just sat and ate up the headlines, you could be forgiven for being in a real state of panic about this, when in reality it's nothing to be in a state of panic about. More messages of fear and doom that have been in the media this last couple of weeks. War. You can always tell when governments want to distract you or to hide something. We've seen this in the last few decades with a variety of wars that have been suddenly created out of nothing. Actual genuine wars, as well as threats of wars. But this last few weeks, media and governments have gone completely off the scales. Out of nowhere, we're all of a sudden on a war footing with China. We're going to be in a real shooting match with China. Imminent, it's coming today, tomorrow. Similarly, Russia. We're into a war footing with Russia. They're going to invade Ukraine, and if they do, that's it. It's all bets are off. World War III. Seriously, guys? I know that Western governments like to think that they're all powerful, all knowing, and the rest of the world should completely do whatever they say because they know best. In reality, having lived and worked in every continent actually across the globe, we don't actually always know what's best. And our version of it's democracy, let me not go off on a tangent here. Let me just say that 9 times out of 10 we should just leave everybody else alone and focus on fixing our own problems, because we've got loads and our way isn't always the best way. And when it comes to politics, we often talk, I say we, Western governments often talk about corruption around the world, but it only takes a quick look at our own media to see that we are as guilty as everybody else of corruption. I don't mean people, the general population, I mean those in power and governments. They do say that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. I got that out without stumbling. Tripped off the tongue. And it's true. People that we put into power with our votes, and I'm sorry guys, but you do this. The voters put these people in these offices and give them these positions of power, and most of them are just not worth it. I wouldn't trust them with my pocket money. But yeah, we're on this war footing, and seriously, I know that we like to think we've got great armies, and we do. We have great people in our armies. But when you're talking about the likes of Russia and China, their armies and militaries are equally as big and as capable. So to take on one of those would be no mean feat, even for a coalition. We're back to that word from the 80s and 90s, coalition. Even a coalition of like-minded Western countries. I think we need to have a reality check, guys. We're not as big and powerful as we might like to think we are. And to take on China would be a bit of a mistake militarily, apart from the economic impact, which I'll touch on later. If we ever got to a shooting war, there would be serious ramifications. China does have nukes. So it's not just a little war in a far-off desert country where they can't really fight back. Outside of that country, that would be a whole different ballgame with China. And people need to just understand that before they start waving the flag and saying, oh, let's get back at China for all those bad things they've been doing. And similarly, Russia. That's closer to home for most Western countries. Most of NATO actually has a border with Russia, including America, by the way. You know that bit at the top, Alaska? Only a couple of miles away from Russia. Yeah, so before we all start jumping up and down and flexing our muscles and saying how great and powerful we are, we need to have a little bit of a reality check. It would not be a desert storm all over again. It wouldn't be a few warplanes bombing Libya. It wouldn't be paying insurgents to go and fight Bashar al-Assad in Syria. It will be a completely different ballgame. So I don't honestly think that Western governments are that stupid that they would actually put troops off on planes and ships to go and have a fight, a proper fight. But God help us if they did. So whenever you hear people talking about we need to go and kick ass in China and Russia, you might just want to point out that it's not Saddam Hussein, it's not Bashar al-Assad, it's not Gaddafi, it's a completely different ballgame. Personally, I don't think we will, but you never know. There's nothing like a good war to start the printing presses up and start printing more money and getting more contracts with the industrial military complex, which politicians get paid to do actually. So yeah, war, World War III, not, I don't think. But if it is, that really would be something to worry about. The main thing really, which is why all these distractions are going on, it is a distraction to divert your attention away from the real issue, which I've talked about endlessly, the economy and the state of your, my and the country's finances. We're in a bit of a state. We're in a lot of a state. Figures came out this week. US inflation now stands at 6.8%. That's the official rate. It's way, way, way higher than that, guys. But the official figure that they're fessing up to, and which is no longer transitory, is 6.8%. That's the highest since 1982. Here in the UK, it's 4.8%. Again, that's the official figures. It's way higher than that. Easily the highest in a decade. That is a serious thing to think about as we go through Christmas and everyone's mind is focused on the holiday season and having parties and buying presents. There's going to be a cold, hard wake-up once Christmas finishes and people start to realise that the everyday essentials, the price has gone up exponentially over the Christmas period while nobody was looking. Other countries are realising that a financial crash is coming and they're taking steps. China is slowing down its exports, it's focusing on keeping supplies at home. Food producing nations around the world doing likewise, slowing down their exports, focusing on keeping the people at home fed. Russia slowing down its gas exports, focusing on the winter ahead for them. You might also realise, if you thought about it, that all of this shouting at Russia and China and threatening and we're withdrawing from the Olympics in China, all of this is not doing any favours for us. If China turns the factory taps off and Russia turns the gas taps off to Europe, we're buggered without a war. And I think I've mentioned that before. So yeah, lots of stuff going on, but most of it is fear-mongering, deliberately designed to distract you away from the real crises that are coming around the corner, a lot closer to home. We don't need a war or a pandemic to have a crisis. We've got one just lurking in the shadows with our economy and our finances. So my message today is all of this fear and worry that's been promoted through the media and through government announcements, really don't fall for it. Don't get distracted. Don't let them throw you into a frenzy of fear and withdraw into your house thinking, oh my God, there's nothing I can do. I just need to hide in this corner and let government take care of me, because they won't take care of you. They have no interest in taking care of you. They're only interested in taking care of themselves. So ignore their fear messaging. Instead, take the time, take the opportunity to focus on you, your family, and your personal circumstances. Everything is still available, albeit slightly more expensive than it used to be. Take advantage of it. Get stocked up now. Look at your finances. Get them in order. Try and do whatever you can to stabilise and secure your own personal little world, and forget all of this other crap that the media and governments are deliberately feeding you. All they want to do is keep you concerned, keep you worried, and keep you looking towards them, those in power, to take care of you. If you cast your minds back, for those who were in doubt about this message, cast your minds back to the start of the COVID crisis. Who would have thought that people would be demanding that you wear a mask, get a vaccination, stay away from family and friends, don't go to the shops, the cinema, the cafe, the coffee shops, the bars, the restaurants, the theatre, the cinema, sports stadia. You're not allowed to do that. Stay at home. Don't even go to work. Doesn't matter if you can't afford to feed your family or you go bankrupt. Do as you're told. And they brought in all these draconian laws which have not gone away, even though the crisis has, the laws haven't. It's all about control and setting you up for an even more controlled future. Please don't fall for that. Don't let them scare you to death. Focus on yourself and your family. Do what's right for you and your family. As I'm going to do for me and my chickens. I'm going to go to the shop now and get some more food for them and make sure that I'm prepared for whatever might come as we go into the new year. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, please do stay safe and well. What are you doing to get yourselves ready? Do let us all know in the comments section. Your comments, tips, suggestions help not just me but help everybody else that views the channel. And do me a little favour, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, or if you don't normally hit the like button, can you do that? I'm really struggling to get my message and my videos promoted through the YouTube algorithm. They only present your video if you've got lots of people hitting the subscribe button or hitting the like button or popping a comment in the comment section. The activity on the channel dictates whether or not my videos get promoted outside of the normal subscriber base. And I would like to put the message out to more people so that that can wake them up and get them thinking and more prepared. So do me and them a favour. If you don't normally do it, hit the like button please. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button please. It helps me and it hopefully will help other people to be able to view the content that I put out. Anyway, I need to get my hat back on and get out into the cold, sort the chickens out, get to the shops, get some more feed. I've got to clean the coop out, which I'm not looking forward to, but it's got to be done. They depend on me. So stay safe and well, and I'll catch up with you later. Well, it's the weekend, and it wouldn't be the weekend without the greenery. So chickens have got their greenery, and as usual, little red one's down here. She knows where to go. Personalised service. They are funny. Why do you always go to the end with my fingers on? You've got all of this here and she just keeps going towards my fingers. You're looking a bit bedraggled, girl. It is wet out here in the coop. Despite the best efforts, it's open-sided, so the rain does come in. But the chickens, at the end of the day, they're used to being outside. Right, let me leave these to their greenery. Get away from my fingers. I need to get the coop cleaned out. It is messy in there. It doesn't help that they're dragging all of this. Look at that, right next to my finger. Look. Come on, this end. Ah, dear. They are funny. Oh, cockerel's coming now, look. Come on, do you want some? Oh, how gentle was the cockerel? He's not used to it, the hand feeding. He still thinks it's a bit strange. Come on then. That's the way. And the other little red one's looking, it's not quite sure. Come on, girl. That's the henpecked one. She does get bullied, that one. She's looking a lot better than she did before. She was looking a bit scruffy before and lost a few feathers, which is not too bad now. Still very nervous though. Come round this side, girl. She's not listening to me. She's off to do her own thing. As am I. I'm going to get inside the coop and get tidied up. So you're going to have to eat it yourself, chickens. I'm not going to hand feed you now. Well, that's the chicken coop sorted out. We've got the first customer. That little red one follows me around. No, you're not going out there. Go on, get back in. Get. So we're all tidied out. That's nice. Hopefully they're all going to start coming back in and laying some eggs. Food and water's topped up. job's a good one. We're building up the pile on that compost bins. That end bay that I did last weekend, I've just put the shavings in there. It is dropping down, so hopefully maybe next weekend there'll be enough space to pop this last bay inside there, as long as it's not throwing it down with rain, of course. We'll see. Not much to show you really outside here. It is what it is. It's cold, wet and a bit miserable. No planting as such. The only planting really is in the garden room. Let's have a quick look. May as well show you now that we're here. Nothing exotic. Turned the heater off. Cabbages doing very well. This potato, I'm surprised it's managed to hang on. You can see that it's a bit limp looking. I'm just leaving it deliberately. There's a tiny little shoot there as well. I'm not really expecting that to produce anything, but it would seem a shame to not at least try and give it a fighting chance. Everything else is pretty much dying back, as I would if I was a plant. I'd not want to be around now. It's way too cold. Anyway, let me get myself sorted out, locked up, and get myself down that farm shop, get some more chicken feed. Well, that's it for today. Short but sweet visit, I'm afraid. I need to get off to the farmer shop. It only has limited opening times. It doesn't open till 10 o'clock. So I'm going to get myself down there now, ready for it opening. And then I can drop that off and get myself home. And maybe, you never know, get this video out early for a change. It's a different look now that winter's full on. All the leaves are dropped off. Everything's looking grey and cold and wet. Nice in the cabin though, with that heater on, I have to say. Bees, I still haven't wrapped that hive. I'm just so up in the air with everything right now. I keep forgetting to do that. Thankfully it's not covered in 6 inches of snow, so I still have time. Anyway, enough talking. Let me get in the car and get down to that shop, and I'll catch you all later.
Well, that's it for this video. I hope there was something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, I welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. What do you think? Do you agree that all this media hype and fear-mongering is just designed to distract us and keep us under control? Or do you have your own theory? Whatever it is, do let us know in the comments section below. But for now, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.